guys. Right, this morning's job, I'm going to fit them gel decals that we had made. Let's go and figure this one out. Let's have a look, see what these fellas have supplied us with. So, we have more than what I've asked them to do, but that's great. I mean, they actually donated these, no charge. They're just expecting you guys to buy them, which is great for me. So these are the set for the side of the tanks, which which is the original ones I wanted. Then we have, obviously you can see the description there on these. So we've got the tank pad here, which is a traditional tank pad, what you would have. And then these two, I believe, they go just above, just sort of somewhere up here on the bike. There's like a plastic panel. I'll show you that a bit further on in the video. These two here go below the pillion seat, near the handrails, the grab rails. Then we have this one here, which is the top of the beak. Then we have this one here, which are the well, it's fork stanchion covers, but it's actually part of the front mudguard. And then over to this side, these two sets of three, it's three individual pieces because of the contours of the side panel, which is below the rider's seat, the main seat. Again, a plastic panel. Right, so the tank pad one will come on to the tank pad there, just work its way around the original Suzuki artwork there. Should stick on there. So that's the tank one. Put that back. Then the tank pad, traditional sort of place to put it. That sits on there. That looks fairly straightforward. I'll go on there. Again, I don't know if I'm going to use them. I'm not sure if I want all that. And then these top ones, the only place I can find to put them is here. But I'm not sure about that. Really not sure. Actually, I think they go the other way around, that way. Yeah, so these tank top ones go on here, but they cover that screw up as well by the look of that. So I'm not sure I'm happy with that. So probably won't be using those either. Then we have this one here, which goes on this panel in this space here. Something like that. There we go. And then to the front of the bike, we have on the peak of the beak there, you see that shape it covers up there. Bit of colour on the front if you wanted it, I guess. And then to the fork stanchion ones, there's actually like a rebate on the mudguard there, which they followed the profile of that when they designed this template, when they templated this, and it'll just sit on over there. Again, I'm not sure I really like that, but I may stick them on and we'll make a decision once they're on. Then we have this set of three, which sort of sit like this, but on, it's difficult to show you and hold them up, but it's on this profile here, on this panel. So the larger one will obviously sit on here, and then the middle one, I think just goes on this. It's got like a, I don't know if you can see it on the camera, it's like a profile there. It's a recess. I think that sits on the inside, so you've got to sort of shape that around. And then you've got the main one, which sits inside this recess and round that screw. It's got a cutout around that screw, so that'll sit in there. Again, I'll show all these once we've got them fitted. Here we go. IPA, that's what I'm going to use. It's isopropanol alcohol, so it's basically just neat alcohol. Some clean, brand new lint-free, get my teeth in, lint-free cloths. One for cleaning it with the IPA and one for just buffing it off. So just put a little bit on the first cloth. It won't damage anything, won't IPA. Nothing that's on a bike anyway, it's pretty good stuff. It's very similar to methylated spirits, I suppose. Just wipe these panels down in the areas that we need them to be wiped. Then swap cloths to the other one, to the clean, dry one. And I'm just buffing that out. Just make sure that you can feel it through the cloth. You can feel how it's dried off. There's a bit needed at the back of there also. Yeah, on this panel here, give that a bit of a clean. IPA on that one. You don't need loads of IPA. I haven't put any more on the cloth. I'll do the other side in a little while. Move on around the front. So then there's the fork stanchion areas. I mean, looking at that, I mean, I don't know whether the camera will pick that up. There's a little bit of dirt on there, but not much at all. So it was obviously pretty clean. Cleaned it with a bit of water first. Wet cloth, dry cloth, buff it out. You see that's perfectly clean. Right, here goes. I'm going to start with this stanchion cover first, just because I'm not sure I'm going to leave them on. So if I make a mess of this one, I'm not too bothered. So the instructions tell me to warm up to room temperature. It's pretty warm in here. It's 18 degrees or so. That's fine. Very pliable. Otherwise, you can use just waft it gently with a hairdryer, not a hot air gun. You know, like for a paint stripping hot air gun, I guess it'll damage the gel. So just warm it up, just so it's pliable. And what I'm intending to do is this line here, I'm going to use this as my datum along this edge. Want to take this backing off, and then I'm just going to roll it around, hopefully getting no air bubbles in, just gently. Okay, no time like the present. Let's take that off, there we go. So very carefully line that up nice and straight, which I don't know whether you'll see that on the camera. And then I just work it round. Just really trying to get it to follow the contour of the plastic cover there. I'm pretty happy with that actually. I think because of that gel, the way that gel is, I'm just gonna use a dry cloth. Again, a lint-free cloth. Just to give it a rub. It might just, yeah, slides on there nice. Your fingers, it's quite sticky on your fingers. But with a cloth, there we go. That's not too bad for a first attempt. Reasonably pleased with that. Whether I like the look, I don't know. Might be too much blue on there, but I think I'll apply all these and then take a view on it once they're all on. Line it up with one edge. There we go. lint-free cloth. It does mould really well actually, very pliable. See, it's maybe 18 degrees in here, so not particularly warm, but it's not cold. I wouldn't like to do this in the colder temperature. You definitely have to heat those up with a hairdryer. Yeah, just applying some pressure on that. According to the instructions, it reaches full adhesion in 24 hours. And to remove them, you just warm them up with a hairdryer again, just to soften that adhesion, and then just peel them back, and I'm pretty sure they'll come off nice and easily, leave no residue. Right, onto the beak. So we'll take that off the backing and mount that on there. I've just actually, what I'm going to do is, because it's sat inside a recess, I'm going to cut around it nice and closely, leaving the backing material on, and I'll cut around it. I'm just going to cut fairly close like this. Well, you can see that, there we go. I'm doing this bit off camera in case I make a mistake. There we go, no mistakes made. Close up here though, that was quite close. Right. Yeah, so they're quite forgiving. There's actually a lot of area to fit that in. You know, it's not like we're very tight on the size and shape. So, right, we're just going to go for it. Peel off the backing. Try not to touch the surface too much with my fingers, and if I do, try and keep it in the middle, not near the edges. At least then the edges don't lift. So start in the middle is what they recommend. No, that didn't work, so I'm not happy with that. I'm going to start at that bottom edge there, centralising that. That's worked actually. There we go. Spot on actually. So you can get you guys in closer to have a look. It looks pretty parallel around that area. I'm quite happy with that. Right, next one. I'm going to put that on here. Looking at that, it will, if I use this top edge here and round this curve as my datum, that should sit it nicely on the bottom. But let me just check, because I want it parallel with this. Yeah, I think I'll use this here as my datum, and then just make sure it's close to this edge. What I don't want is it running off to this other label, because it'll be too obvious on that other bit of graphic work there. So that's the backing off. They're extremely sticky, as you can see there. I think that's it. actually. That one does look okay. This side panel next. So it's got to run parallel with the top. Bring it forward a little. And then it does run fairly parallel to that. I think that's it. That's the starting point. I'm going to go for that. Very lightly stick it on there. Let it find its own shape. That's it. And then just a light rub to start with, and then yes, I'm happy, so press it down. This one looks like it goes in there on this. It's off at an angle, it's not flat, so it is kind of reshaping that a little bit. Got to try and get it to follow that contour, but because it's so thin, there's not a lot of material there. That's presumably it's just going to go on where you want it. I'm just eyeing up the lettering here as well, so it looks like they're lining up. Yeah, I can think that's the key. If you're sort of letting it to follow its own position. No, it hasn't stuck. Look, try again. This plastic's like a texture, it's got a texture to it, so that's gonna make it a little more difficult for that to stick as good as it would on a smooth surface. Well, it's on for now. And then the infill panel, which will sit around there. Yeah. Not sure about this. I'm just looking at these lines here. If I line those up, then when you get to these here, they're off. Line the top and the bottom there, and that gap's too big. The U doesn't look right. Maybe I'll compromise. Yeah, I'm not overly confident that that's going to look right. Could be one of those things. I'm installing them, I'm putting them on, so I'm noticing it. Once it's on, you probably wouldn't have even noticed that. Okay, this is the main pressure now for me. Getting these tank ones on. It's such a big area. Don't want to make a mess of this. pretty nice because there's a line of graphics there on the tank to follow, and also here, and they just keep it further this way towards the seat, because my jeans, the bike trousers and jeans, are marking the tank here. I mean, very minor, but the bike, I've only had the bike what, 4 months, three to 4 months, so after 3 to 4 years it's going to be a lot worse, which is why I'm having these on. Anyway, let's get on with it. Take the backing off. Wow, much more difficult with a larger size. Go for that there. Yeah, that's actually right. That's pretty good, that. I don't know how much you can see on the camera because of it's pretty dark. Everything's, you know, the dark colours. I mean, it's bright in here in the workshop. It's as bright as you could expect. There's a couple of there. There's a little air bubble there, that's gone. Just rubbing it out now. There's a little air bubble there actually, didn't see that. That's coming out. So that looks from above. Yeah, quite happy with that. There's 1 or 2 bubbles in there, but I'm no professional. First time I've done this. Right, onto the other side. I'm sure there's a better way of doing this, but it's working for me so far. I'm just offering it up, taking an eye measurement, if you like, to see where everything lines up. I'm happy with it. I can see that there. This is like, what, quarter of an inch, sorry, 6 millimeters. And if I keep that the same all the way along, I can see it brings the outside edges to where it needs to be. So that's a good datum point. That's all good theory. The difficulty is dealing with these larger decals. Decals? Anyway, you get the drift. Backing off. Yeah, that was a better way of doing it actually. holding this edge off and just working it to contact the tank side, and it's actually avoided those air bubbles which I got on the other side. I got them out. I'm pretty happy with those. Need to wash with some water, I think, all of these. I think that's pretty good. Quite happy with that. Have a look from above. Don't know how much you can see there, but it's definitely transforming the look of the bike. Certainly a lot more colour. The only one I haven't done up to now is the tank pad, which I think I will. I'll do this area, but I'm not going to do these two here, because I'm not even sure that's what those black strips are for. These ones here, they don't seem to fit. They don't seem to lay on right, so I'll leave those. That's all clean. Test fit that. I think it's best fitting around this here, because it brings those edges parallel on both sides. So that's the plan. Backing off, start in the middle. Yep, let's try again. So it comes off pretty easy if you get it wrong. For a second time. Yeah. That's only touching in the middle at the moment, because there's quite a contour in this tank. Well, it's a plastic cover. Yep, that's gone on okay actually.